Hey guys, this is Mrs. Lyons. If you're listening to this, we've survived our first week of e-learning. I don't know about you, but I certainly like being in school where we can meet face to face, or be blended where we can meet at least a couple times a week. I guess what I'm trying to say is I miss you guys a lot. And the good news is this is your last day of e-learning before spring break, so hopefully you do something during break to kind of enjoy the downtime. I know a lot of people have trips they've canceled, and we've been cooped up in the house. I am just tired of this already. And from the looks of what some other states and other places within the state are doing, I'm guessing we won't necessarily be back to school immediately following spring break. We know we have that Monday off. So this assignment will be due on Monday. All right. And again, Monday's an active God day, so that means you don't have to do it. But Tuesday, as we roll into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think we're going to get into some legitimate e-learning that we will have to be assessing. So in order for us to all be on the same page, I hope you have just spent some time reviewing what we need to review, so you're ready to go. So let's talk about what you're going to do. This is a summary video. There's some slides, and there are written directions on Google for what you're going to do for this assignment, just to kind of show that you have some of the basic concepts down. So the first thing you're going to be asked to do is identify ionic versus covalent compounds. Okay, remember, ionic compounds have a metal plus a nonmetal. All right, so let's do this. Ionic, metal plus nonmetal. Okay, or it could be a metal plus a polyatomic ion. A polyatomic ions are only found in ionic compounds. All right, and then covalent compounds, the elements are both going to be nonmetal. So nonmetal. Okay. So if we look at this list, so what you're supposed to do, you are either going to, so there are three things you're going to do in an assignment, and there are a couple of different ways you can do it. You can write things on a piece of paper, take a picture, and upload that to your Google Drive, and then share that picture with me. You could type everything into a Google Doc and share that Google Doc with me. Or you can write things on a piece of paper and make a flip grid and show those. There are three things that you're going to be demonstrating. Okay, so this first one asks, how do you know if a compound is ionic or covalent? So what I want you to do, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 substances here, and I want you to tell me which one is ionic and which one's covalent. So we're going to put a circle around the ionic substances, and then we're just going to draw a line under the covalent compounds. Okay, so if you're going to do a flip grid, I would go through this process and get this paper ready to go so that you don't waste time in the video doing it. So put these on a piece of paper. So for example, I'm going to find two. I'm going to find an ionic and I'm going to find a covalent. So let's see, for an ionic, I'm looking for something that has a metal in it. Okay, so I know iron's a metal. If I find a metal and then I have a nonmetal, that tells me that this is an ionic compound. All right, covalent compounds only have nonmetals. So let's see. Here we go. Oh, here's a clue. Dinitrogen trioxide. So remember, we're always looking for those prefixes. So this would be one of my covalent compounds. All right. So what you should do, again, one of two things. Write these compounds on a piece of paper, circle, underline, save that page, and then go on to the next piece of information. Or type it into a Google Doc. Okay? One way or another, either through Flipgrid or a Google Doc, I want to see these on Monday. All right. So the next thing I want you to do, and this is so important, and for those of you who have been practicing the writing chemical equations, writing word equations as chemical equations, I think everybody was like, oh yeah, I'm about a 4 or maybe a 3. There were a couple 2.5s, and everybody acknowledged, you know what, this is just going to take practice. And the practice that it's going to take is in writing formulas for ionic and covalent compounds. All right, so there's 2 options for you to do this. I have 2 compounds that I want you to, whoops, too far, for you to do. Maybe I don't have them in this, in this presentation. Okay, I don't. Sorry, flip. So what you can do is you can explain. So I don't want you to just figure out what the formula is. That doesn't tell me anything because you could Google that and find it. What I want you to do is use words to explain how to get the chemical formula from the words and the name, okay? You can do one of 2 things. You can write it down on a piece of paper, and on the Google Doc that has the directions, I did that as an example, or you could record yourself explaining it in the Flipgrid. So if you look at this is an example I'm going to do. All right, so I'm going to do calcium phosphate. So if I were going to record this in the Flipgrid, I would say calcium has an element symbol of Ca. It's in group 2, so I know that calcium is going to have a +2 charge when it forms an ion. Phosphate is a polyatomic ion, so I have to go back on the back of the periodic table to see that and figure out what phosphate is. When I do that, phosphate is PO4, parentheses, with a -3 charge. So in order to figure out what calcium phosphate looks like in a formula, I'm going to take those charges and I'm going to crisscross them. Okay, that means that 3 comes down and now is a subscript behind calcium, and the 2 comes down and is a subscript behind the parentheses of PO4. All right, so what we end up with is Ca3PO4 in parentheses 2. Okay, so when you do this, you either need to explain in words, writing it out or typing it out, or you can do it in a video format. I do want you to write out the formula on the sheet of paper that you are going to put into a Google Doc and share with me, okay? The next thing I want you to be able to do is and this is just a kind of short, have you gotten that whole how to write an equation down? Okay, so on your paper, okay, so everybody's going to have a paper. You can't do everything on Flipgrid. On your paper, you're going to write this equation, write these words down, and then write a chemical equation. Okay, so solid aluminum reacts with oxygen gas to form solid aluminum oxide. So I want you to convert that into a chemical equation, okay, using all of the abbreviations and everything. All right, so 3 things. Again, I do want to see you on Flipgrid, even if all you do is wish me happy spring break. And if you have any suggestions going forward, if you've seen other teachers do things that you liked, please let me know. If there are things that you think would make chemistry easier as an e-learning situation, I'm open to all feedback, because I think when we get back from spring break, we're going to be doing e-learning for real with actual grades. So we've kind of had this time to just kind of practice and see how we wanted to do things. One thing that I've noticed is I love the Flipgrid because I love seeing your faces and hearing your voices. However, I cannot do that every single day because I want to respond to everyone. And I think I calculated that took me about 8 hours to listen to everyone's videos and then respond. So that was a huge time commitment. So anyway, guys, I just hope you know how much I miss you, how much I care about you, how much I hope you are somehow keeping yourself busy and not being totally bored as we're cooped up in our houses. But I also hope you're taking this situation seriously and you're doing the whole social distancing thing and staying away from people in an effort to keep everybody healthy. I know that we will get through this, and we will get through it together. But, just know that every day I sit here at my kitchen table and I work a little bit on school, and it's kind of depressing because the part of teaching that I like the most is the interaction that I have with you guys. It's the conversations that aren't necessarily about chemistry. It's, just the real life stuff. The chemistry is important, but I think the relationships are important too. And as we work through this, I don't want to lose that relationship piece. So I'm going to try to figure out how best we can maintain that. All right. So guys, good luck. Enjoy your spring break. This assignment is due, like I said, on Monday, March 30th. We will not be in school that day. That's still considered an e-learning day. And just be safe, stay healthy, and I just know how much I miss you, and I'll see you sometime.